Hi folks, and welcome back to another Travels of Red Rover. I'm Sean.
And I'm Corrine.
And today, where are we?
We are at Wasatch Mountain State Park near Heber City in Utah.
And what are we doing?
It's fall color time.
Yes, so we're out and the leaves are just absolutely gorgeous. We're not at peak color yet, but we are definitely at peak leaves. I mean, the leaves are absolutely in beautiful shape and their colors are gorgeous. And there's a little mixture of yellow, green, and red, and some orange, so it should be a fun day.
Yeah, Sean's lying. This area is at peak color. If we wait much longer, the leaves will be falling off the trees, so we'll see lots of color.
We weren't supposed to tell anybody that. So anyway, we'll come along for the ride. I think it's going to be an absolutely beautiful trip.
Corrine and I drove up about halfway along Pine Canyon Road until we found a nice parking spot that was well off the road. This was a particularly good spot because it gave us enough height along the road to do some mountain photographs, but it also gave us a nice stretch of these bright red and yellow leaves to photograph from down below. It was a great spot. The only thing I'd mention is that you need to be careful because the road is narrow and there's not much of a way to get out of the car's ways if you're not careful. So here's where we started, and Corine's going to give you some tips.
So our strategy as we're going up this road is to find some color and find it a little bit in the shade so that it's not overblown with sunlight on it, but try and look for a darker background behind it rather than a lighter background, because if you get bright red leaves on a bright background, your red leaves will turn almost black, silhouetted. So you got to find a spot where there's some good shade in behind the red leaves and maybe a little bit of light filtering through the upper canopy to light your scene. Rather than working in my usual aperture priority mode, I've been working in manual and setting the ISO at 400 and then setting the shutter speed and aperture based on the scene I'm doing. So if I want narrow depth of field, I'm setting the aperture first and then adjusting my shutter to compensate for that. And that seems to be working best under these variable light conditions of bright areas and shadows.
So here's a couple tips for shooting beautiful colored leaves when you're out on a fall tour. Item number one, make sure you have a polarizer. It really takes the waxiness off the leaves and makes them a lot easier to get and really bring out all that color. Item two is don't shoot on landscape film. Pick something like neutral because you'll be able to bring the colors back later on if it's a little washed out. But if it's too bright and too overexposed in especially the yellows, you really won't be able to bring them back in Lightroom very well. So always try to underexpose those yellows, and then you can add back a little saturation and vibrance if you need to.
We always bring our drone as a tool when we're going leaf peeping. It's often a great tool to get up above the trees and really show you how the color is blended on the mountainside. Just make sure that you have permission and know where you're allowed to fly your drone. And without further ado, here are some of the photographs that we created that morning. We hope you enjoy them.
We came up a little higher in elevation, and now as you can see behind me, we've reached the aspen groves. We're at a little small lake. Looks like this lake is home to some moose based on some prints I've seen in the mud. No moose at the moment, but we're having a good look around and enjoying some of the nice golden color and looking at some of the side lighting on the trunks of the trees and a little bit of backlighting. That seems to be the most attractive in fall colors, is if you can get a little backlighting on these leaves. Here there's a nice little dirt road and some aspen trees lining it. It's really pretty sight, but you will notice that with the white gravel, white dirt, it's very bright in the camera. So when you're doing something like this, look for these more shadowed spots so that the road doesn't overwhelm the picture. And you can see as I move up, I get a little bit better exposure as I'm getting more of the shadows of the road versus the bright sunlight on the roads. So roads make a great leading line, but just be careful of bright highlights.
This turned out to be another absolutely gorgeous location for both drone video and some photographs. So without further ado, I'm going to include them here. I hope you enjoy them. Our last stop, which was Cascade Springs, the sun was pretty high at this point, which made some of the photography pretty challenging. But nonetheless, we soldiered on, and here are some of the results.
So the trail has a number of bridges crossing the stream, and there's a number of water pools, a birth pool and a lower pool, and the trail makes like a figure 8 around it. It's quite short and easy to do, and the trail is all paved. So very accessible for most people.
Even with the really bright sun and a very busy park, Karina and I were able to find some interesting locations for a few shots. And here they are.
So, Corinne, what did you think of the shooting today?
Well, the afternoon was a bit too busy, and the morning was a good exploration, and I would definitely go back there, but I need to explore more places.
Yes, it would have been nice to explore a few more places. Unfortunately, there was a bad accident on Pine County Road, is that right?
Pine Canyon Road.
Pine Canyon Road, and it basically shut down the road for about 2 hours. So we couldn't actually get up to the top as early as we'd like, and by the time we get up there, the sun was getting pretty harsh. But otherwise, it was a beautiful spot. What do you think about where we are right now, Corinne?
I think it would be a lovely spot on a overcast day when you don't have as many people and you don't have as much highlight and dark.
Yeah, pretty bright here at Cascade
Springs.
And it was a little too bright and a little too busy to really get the kind of shots that we were kind of after. But it's definitely worth a visit. It's a gorgeous location with the water cascading down and the colored leaves. It has tremendous opportunity on a day like Corinne said, which is a little bit more cloudy or a little bit more shadowed. So we're going to bring this video to an end today. If you enjoyed it, please give us a thumbs up.
And if you'd like to see more of our videos, we sure hope you will subscribe, and we thank everyone who has subscribed so far.
And as always, if you want to know when we release videos, hit that little bell button down there.
And we love your comments, so if you have any thoughts or ideas or suggestions or like a particular photo, let us know in the comment section down below.
And until next time, bye for now.
Bye for now.